What is your time of game?
My time of game is the night of Eve. And speaking of fiery vaginas,
Yes.
speaking of fire at least, so the night of Eve, I can set the scene for you by telling you that it is about Eve Online, a game that I was addicted to for quite some time, but hadn't played in a while when I met a boy who played this game as well, and we kind of hit it off right away. Like, you play Eve? So do I. We both play Eve. Let's talk about Eve. So anyway, I start dating this boy, and summer solstice is coming up. And for those of you who know me, you know that I'm not a straight out hedonist, but I do look for pretty much any excuse to party. Now, at this point in my life, party pretty much means like an extra 2 liter of Coke and, maybe two pizzas and a new video game. But at this point, it was a little bit more than that. So we're going to party. And
We've
as it
slowed down
happens,
since the night of Eve. We have slowed down.
slowed down. Maybe in part due to the night of Eve. So it's solstice, and his roommates are gone. All four of them. He has four roommates, and he lives in a garage. Yes, I started dating a boy that lived in a garage attached to a condo. So he has the place to himself. He actually has the condo, right? So we have a plan. We're gamers. We're kind of lazy about food. We know that we won't take care of these things. So we're going to up front make a massive batch of tamales to kind of cover us for weeks, actually. This is food. This is going to be food for weeks.
For a very long time.
Exactly. You can freeze them. They're good for gamers, right? So I show up to his place with a metric fuck ton of candles, a little tiny bit of weed, a bowl and some weed.
How much are we talking?
What's that?
How much weed are we talking?
bit.
Like really, there's not much left, so I have like a bowl, but we'll do something about that later in the story. So, and then I have the tamale makings, and we were ambitious. We were making like 4 different types of tamales. There was crab, there was elk, there was
Holy
chicken,
shit, girl.
Ooh.
and I think maybe a mushroom and cheese. There were 4 different kinds.
Oh.
There were roughly 40, 50 tamales in a giant pot. We get out all the cookware, and it's 4 roommates, so there's plenty of equipment to work with, right? So we're doing all of this so that we can spend the evening playing Eve, and we're going to do this stoned. So we get all the tamales and stuff set up, and we're new to this, but we're like, this much water should do, and you suspend the basket over. So basically this is a food that you steam. Mm-hmm. So we put it on pretty low, and we drop the pot in there, and we've got the tamales in there. And the boy had made an almond cake. So there's this almond cake sitting over here. They're going to be
sound amazing.
Are you guys gamers or like? I've never talked to gamers who had that much like food brevity.
Yeah, no. Pretty into food as well, especially cake. So he knows I'm super into cake, so he's checking boxes at this point. He's like, I'm pretty into this girl. I'm gonna make her a cake, and it was an almond cake. It was a gorgeous almond cake. It was covered in almond slices on the outside, and he had made the frosting and stuff. So this is sitting to the side. So I'm like, all right, let's hop into Eve. We got these tamales on the make. We'll get back to them. They do need quite a while, and I'm like, but first let's set up all these candles and we'll smoke some weed. So we set up these tea light candles everywhere. You guys know you can buy those in bags, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We set them up everywhere. All the lights in the house are out. It is just tea lights everywhere. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be awesome. So there's, like I mentioned, not very much weed. So we smoked this weed, and then we're like, oh man, that wasn't enough weed. And then the boy goes,
That's got to be an awkward position, though. You're just sitting there, you're surrounded by all these candles, you smoke the weed, and you're like, that was not enough weed, and we're still surrounded by a shit ton of candles. What do we do?
So I'll tell you what we do. The boy goes, have you ever heard of knifers? And I was like, knifers? What the hell? And he's like, knifers. Okay, here's what you do. It's like you scrape any weed device that you have of all of the resin that is collected. Well, I haven't scraped this bowl maybe ever. So there's some knifer material in there, and I'll tell you what a knifer is. You scrape the device, you collect the resin, and then you take a knife and your lighter, and you put the resin on the knife, and then you put the lighter underneath, and smoke will rise, and then you just like vacuum it up with your face out of the air. And
like similar situation as like crack or something.
No, this is for the frugal stoner.
Okay.
We're not quite so much desperate as we are fun-seeking at this point, because I'm pretty sure that booze would have done it. I know that there are beers. Actually, there's probably cider. That was a cider phase for us, I think. So there's probably hard cider. But this is in the spirit of fun. Like, knifers? Are you serious? It's like the first time somebody mentions a gravity bong. Like, oh, sign me up.
Yeah.
So we do the knifers, and we feel ridiculous. And we notice that it wasn't the best thing for the knife. So that's a little unfortunate, but we brushed that off. We're feeling good. We got cake. We're stoned. So then we're like, all right, this is, the party has begun. Let's go fuck some people up in Eve. And so this is how this happens. In Eve is a wonderful game because the devs allow you to scam and cheat and lie your face off. You can do whatever you want. Yep. They will not, and people can whine about it all they want. The devs will not protect the whiners. They will not fire the scammers. Mm-hmm. So that's a wonderful game for me because I love to just, like anybody that's doing Care Bear sorts of activities, any PvE sorts of activities,
fuck them.
Will very much enjoy fucking you up. So my new boyfriend teaches me this wonderful trick. It's probably why I fell in love with him. He taught me that what we could do is we could go into secure space. So, where like you can't just attack anybody. It's, if you make a move on somebody here, you're just dead. The Eve security, the AI will get you. Mm-hmm. But what you can do is do something called can flipping. So you go out into space and you find a Care Bear. And a Care Bear is going to be out there mining for hours. Now, you'll go and you'll see how they're doing. How long have they been at this? Do they have a lot of stuff in their can? Because they can't collect it all in their ship, right? They're making runs. Okay. So they're storing it locally in a can, and then they'll take that can and they'll deliver the goods to their ship, or they'll bring the ship to the can. So you find a juicy target, and a juicy target has been at this for a while. These
That's
are
one
often
juicy Care Bear.
That's a really plump Care Bear. These are often people that don't even engage in fights in the game. They're mining, they're selling, they're doing these sorts of things. So what you do is you can't attack them, right? Because no one's flagged for PvP, so you can't just attack this person. But what you can do is you can flip their can. You go over, you find that their can is full of amazing shit. You take all that amazing shit out and put it in your own can in the same spot. They'll come back eventually. Now, 90% of the time, they're going to notice that this is not their can because they're going to have to say, like, it's going to flag them, like, you sure you want to open the can and junk? Sometimes people just open it and take the stuff out, and then they have stolen from you. In that moment, they have stolen from you, it'll flag them. Most people are going to wander up and go, oh, crap. All right, but they're going to risk it because they've been at this for, keep in mind, at least 5 hours getting all this shit, right?
Yeah.
This is their life. This is actually real life money because in Eve, you can actually use real life money. And so, it's kind of a big deal. So anyway, we're sitting off in cloaked ships. We'll go do this. We'll go replace the can. They'll go up to the can. We're giggling at this point because we know it's on. When you see somebody approaching your baited can, and you'll have more than one. You usually bait more than one can, but it's insanely entertaining. So they're going up. They're going up, and you're giggling. And at this point, we're like super high, and we've probably hand eaten some of the almond cake because we were just eating with our hands. And it's like they're gonna go for it. They're gonna go for it. They take the stuff out of the can, and they're gonna try and make it out. And then you just uncloak, and you ruin their day. They're instantly dead. You take all their shit, and then the very best part of it that I haven't even mentioned yet is invariably you will get a tear-laden message.
The look on your face right now is fucking so good.
It might involve a mention of their parents, their guild, anybody who has my dad's gonna kill me. I put real life money in this.
Oh no.
My guild, they just gave me access to their mining ship. I just blew up their mining ship. The tear laden messages were our favorite part.
Oh, that's so.
That's
good.
amazing.
I love that.
So
I love
during-
tear-laden messages.
They're so
I'm
juicy.
so envious right now.
They're so juicy.
They're
We had
so
since-
juicy.
Yeah, they're so good. That was definitely the best part. On this particular night, when we're flipping cans, however, I thought I smelled something weird, and I was like, that's probably a candle that's like burned down to the end, that's like dried up or whatever.
Well, you're just doing knifers. It could have been anything.
It could have been knifers. It could have been anything. I was like, maybe the water's running out on the tamales because you have to replace the water and stuff. And soon after I have that thought, the fire alarm goes off in the house. And I'm like, oh shit. So we run out from the garage because we're in the garage. That's where the boy lives. We run out of the garage into the kitchen through a fuck ton of smoke because that's what you have to go through to get to the kitchen to find the pot with the tamales in it. And I am not exaggerating at all. The pot was black. It was entirely black. This was a silver, like stock pot. It is black. There is no water left. The tamales are fucked. But worse than that, the house is filled with smoke. Both levels of the condo. And the reason we know both levels was we had to go upstairs and open all of those windows as well because we realized that it had probably traveled everywhere. The house is entirely filled with smoke. The alarm's going off. The boy gets the alarm off. And we're just we're freaking out. And we have to go out into the lawn. The sliding door is open. So at this point in the evening, we fucked a bunch of people over, but we are now standing on the lawn. Probably not terribly high anymore. Maybe a little bit buzzed. And there is smoke billowing out of all of the windows of this condo.
That's
and we're just
crazy.
watching it happen like, oh my God, what have we done? And we're thinking like, the cops could definitely come because somebody might call the fire department. And
Oh
we're just
no.
totally freaking out because like there was weed in the house and this was Washington State. Weed was not legal yet. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is now, but this would have been a problem at that point.
Right.
Well, you're
So
safe.
there we
You
are.
scraped all the weed off the bowl. There's no evidence at all.
Just clean everything out.
What weed, officer?
What we- it's
so
too good.
yeah. So there we are on the lawn, and to finish off the story, I'll let you know that the candles were actually a problem too. Some of them melted two things. The metal was too hot, and it got stuck, and in some cases, wax was in places it
No.
shouldn't have been. So when the 4 roommates came back, the boy heard it. He caught hell. They were like, what did you do? Because, once a place is filled with smoke, the curtains smell, the couch smells,
Yep.
all the fabric on the seats smell, the walls smell, the very fiber of the building
Did
now
he
smells.
say romance? When they
Bromance?
said, what did you do?
Do what?
Romance, bro.
I was doing romance.
What did you
Leave me
do?
alone.
Romance.
I also
yeah.
want to ask another question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever respond to any of the sad stories by saying, well, you want to know what just happened to me? I burnt my fucking tamales.
Tamales.
And I have tea candles that have melted onto half the things in the house.
You're worried about a can?
Tell me your life's hard, okay?
Worried about your mining goods and your stupid ship. Those ships were expensive. I just enjoyed those. Those are treasures. Those are treasures. I print screened some of that shit. And on a bad day, I might take a look.
Yeah. Oh, no, I feel you there. I feel you there for sure. I was like getting excited when you were talking about how he had figured out, or how you guys had figured out how to mess with people.
It
Oh,
was
it's
too
fantastic.
fun. It was too fun.
At this point, how long had you'd met, you'd bonded over Eve, and you
Yep.
played? Do you guys still play together?
We don't play Eve together anymore, but we do live together, and we game way too much to the point where it's like, who's gonna do the dishes? So it did start a solid relationship.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys met, and then Eve got brought up in conversation.
It
You
did
met,
the
right? You
first
didn't meet
night.
through the game, or
No, we met. He was a friend of a roommate, And so he came over, and the story that I heard a little bit later was, my roommate's super hot. You got to come see my roommate. That's apparently what he told the boy. Like, you got to come see my super hot roommate. So he comes over, and we get to talking, and as soon as it landed on games, and then like specifically Eve, because not a ton of people played Eve, especially not a lot of women.
Yeah.
No.
So I think he was very surprised. Like, whoa.
Yeah, that's
are you kidding?
That's a brave game to throw out there that you play it, because like back then, you're like, someone play Eve Online, you're like, oh motherfucker, they got no life. Like
Excel in space. You play Excel in space?
Yeah.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, with the almond cake, with the fire, with the, what's it called? Flipping? Can
flipping. Yeah.
Can flipping. And with all of your 50 ruined tamales, what would you rate the romance? On a scale of 1 to 10, on Tuesday's scale of romance on 1 to 10, what was the romance level?
I'm gonna go with a solid. All right, it was a fucking 9. It was definitely a 9.
All right.
Dude, I feel like there is something to be treasured about any situation that goes freaking out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can be remembered for years to come. I mean, you're telling this story now.
Yep.
This was a while ago when you guys
Glory
met,
days.
so yeah.
Glory days.
They'll pass you by.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they'll pass you by in the wink of a young girl's eye.